Hi guys, today I made a heart cake Swiss roll. If you're interested in more Valentine's Day themed recipes, click on the link here or look down on the description box for the links to the Valentine's Day playlist. And here are the listed ingredients. Be sure to pause it so you can read this. Follow the instructions on the pound cake mix. I know this is kind of weird. I'm showing you how to make cake mix, but if you want to make pound cake from scratch, go right ahead. But I just didn't want to make pound cake because it uses up so much butter, hence the name pound cake, pound of butter, and butter is a little bit expensive. Now dye your pound cake batter pink and bake it in a 9 by 9 inch brownie pan. And just follow instructions on how long to cook it. Cool it completely, and using a heart-shaped cutter, cut out hearts. I needed this pan, so I took the cake out of the pan. And if you want to leave it in the pan, that's cool too. The heart-shaped cookie cutter that I used was a tad bit big. If I were to go back, I would have maybe chosen a smaller heart-shaped cookie cutter. I just cut out some hearts. We could trim off the brown parts later. Try to be gentle with this so we could keep the cake intact. I think this is as good as it gets for me. And taking a knife, I'm just trimming off the brown parts. Now starting on the chocolate Swiss roll, taking the cocoa powder, dissolve it into the hot water and stir this together. As yummy as this looks, don't try to eat it because it's disgusting. Don't ask me why I know. In a bowl, mix together the egg yolks and the sugar and just whip this up until light and pale. I've never really used this hand mixer before, but I found that it whipped up egg whites and yolks a lot better than the stand mixer. And taking our cocoa mix, we pour it into our egg yolks and stir this together. Taking a sifter, sift in our cake flour. You want to sift flours like right when you need them, because if it just sits there, it will get packed together and you had to re-sift it anyways. Stir it together. Now in a clean bowl, whip up our egg whites, and once it gets bubbly, you could slowly add in the sugar, just sprinkling it in there. This bowl was kind of small, so it was dangerously just getting bigger and bigger, and that happened. So yeah, make sure you have the right size bowls. Once the meringue has reached stiff peaks, whip them into our chocolate mix, adding 1/3 of the amount at a time, folding it into the batter. The meringue we made earlier is like super delicate, and you want to keep it as fluffy as possible, so that we're doing this folding method and being very gentle when we fold this batter. In our jelly roll pan, line with parchment paper and spray down some oil, pour our cake batter on over it, and spread it evenly onto the pan using a offset spatula. Bake this at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 12 minutes. To test if it's done, you touch it, and if it doesn't stick to your fingers, that means it's done, or you could use the toothpick test. I'm just removing it from my pan very gently and removing the parchment paper. I felt like the other side looked a lot better, so I took my parchment paper, placed it over the cake, and flipped the cake over. I know this sounds like a little weird, but I felt like there's a chance it might crack if I didn't flip it over. It was just a weird intuition I have. And taking the heavy cream and sugar, just whip this up until it's stiff and thick to make our whipped cream filling. Before whipping up the whipped cream, make sure it's cold and that you shake the carton before pouring it into the bowl. Take the whipped cream and spread it onto our jelly roll, and make sure the jelly roll is completely cool. When you spread this on, I'm like leaving an inch on all around so it doesn't leak out when you roll it. And taking out my cutout hearts, I'm just placing them upside down onto my jelly roll and using whipped cream to like glue them together. Once you have your hearts lined up, roll up your jelly roll using the parchment paper on the back to help roll it up. Roll this up tightly so you'll have a nice little circle around your heart. Wrap it in the parchment paper and wrap it over again with saran wrap and leave this in the refrigerator for 3 hours at the least. Using a knife, cut the edges just to clean it up, and you can see the design. And there's your heart cake roll. Thank you for watching my video. Please like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions, ask them down below. Follow me on my social media sites and watch my previous video. Bye!